Happy Hump Day, folks. This is Michael on the Graveyard Shift, getting your day started with a brand new trivia question. I hope your day is or your week, well, both actually. Easy for me to say. Yes, I've had too much coffee at this point in time, but I hope everything is going well, and we're halfway through the week, so let's just keep on going. So the answer to the previous trivia question was obscenity, and what the Supreme Court came up with, which went down in history and what is known as the Miller test. Now, this is the primary legal test for determining whether expression constitutes obscenity, and it was established in the 1973 Supreme Court case, Miller v. California. In this case, a man named Melvin Miller conducted a mass mailing campaign to advertise the sale of adult material. He was prosecuted for violating a California law that made it a misdemeanor to knowingly distribute obscene material. And this went all the way to the high court, folks. This went through the court system to the Supreme Court. And when the case and the issue came before the Supreme Court, the justices were tasked with the issue of determining whether or not the sale and distribution of obscene materials by mail are protected under the First Amendment's freedom of speech guarantee. Something is just as simple as the criteria involved in this case really involved a significant and important legal issue. It's a great First Amendment case. In a narrow 5-4 ruling, most of the really good constitutional issues, not all of them, but most of them they're very controversial, are usually come down to the wire, like this one. This was a 5-4 ruling. The High Court said no to Mr. Miller. Obscene material is not protected by the First Amendment. In reaching this determination, the court came up with what went down in history, like I was saying before, as the Miller test. And this is what they came up with. Check this out. Whether the average person applying contemporary community standards would find that the work, taken as a whole, appeals to the prurient interest. I'm sure I'm pronouncing that wrong. That's got something to do with like sexual arousal and so forth. Okay. Number 2, whether the work depicts or describes in a patently offensive way sexual conduct specifically defined by the applicable state law. And number 3, whether the work taken as a whole lacks serious literary, artistic, political, or scientific value. Okay, so now, this is the 70s, folks. This is like the height of like the sexual revolution, if you will. Okay, sideburns, bell bottoms, all that good stuff. Freedom, whatever. And the Supreme Court comes up with this. Now, this is kind of vague. Okay, it's vague and specific kind of at the same time as far as the way I read it. But I think it was done like that by Justice Berger, who drafted the majority opinion very strategically and on purpose. So a lot of it could be left up to the states. I think that's kind of how that all went down. Now, there are still major disagreements, as you can imagine, regarding obscene material and the government's role in regulation. Remember, this is the 1970s, and right now it's 2022. You got all kinds of things. Think of how far we've come as far as what is obscene and what is not. All 50 states have individual laws controlling obscene material. And I think that's what the court's specific intention was when they drafted this opinion. The Supreme Court itself has repeatedly grappled with problematic elements of the Miller test for obscenity. Still to this day, they're applying the Miller test. To date, this is interesting. This is still the standard, folks. They can't come up with anything better than those three, very pieces of criteria there for the Miller test. No standard has been developed to replace it. And I guess as far as the Supreme Court goes, and cases and their discretion as to whether or not they're going to hear a case or not, that might not necessarily be a bad thing. Obscenity remains a category of speech that is unprotected by the First Amendment. That's the overall conclusion of the whole thing. Now, I'm like, obscenity. Some people make a whole career out of obscenity. I'm a metalhead. I always talk about my love for heavy metal music, thrash metal, European thrash metal, the Bay Area metal, hardcore, all that stuff. I'm a big fan of, and some of that is very much considered obscene. artists, some artwork is considered obscene. Comedians, the movie industry. I mean, you could go on and on. So think about how far we've come, and as far as our definition of obscenity goes. So this was a really, really great case involving the Miller test and those three pieces of criteria. My favorite group, the Supreme Court, folks. That's what I'm talking about. All right, folks, we'll take a break from the Supreme Court. June is a huge Supreme Court month anyways in American history, because that's usually traditionally, historically, when a lot of cases are handed down. So that's why we've seen a heavy influx of Supreme Court trivia questions. But nonetheless, for Hump Day, June 22nd, on this day in 1934, brand new trivia question, which happened to be his 31st birthday. And after a long life of robbing banks and killing people, John Dillinger is informally named this for the first time by J. Edgar Hoover's FBI, with the promise of a $10,000 reward for his capture. Good luck, folks. Have a good hump day. I'll see y'all next time. Peace out.